Grey's Anatomy has never been just about surgeries and love triangles. It has consistently shined a light on the real challenges facing American healthcare. For nearly 2 decades, the long-running drama has tackled issues that resonate far beyond Grey Sloan Memorial, reflecting the struggles that doctors, patients, and families face every day in real life. One of the show's most powerful storylines explored healthcare inequality, highlighting how patients from lower-income backgrounds often can't access life-saving treatments due to lack of insurance, a reality for millions of Americans today. Grey's Anatomy has also given visibility to mental health awareness, covering depression, PTSD, and anxiety through both patients and doctors. With nearly 1 in 5 U.S. adults experiencing mental illness annually, these storylines have helped reduce stigma and spark conversation. The series hasn't shied away from organ donation dilemmas either, dramatizing the emotional weight of transplants while reflecting the real-world crisis, where over 100,000 people wait for a donor match. Another pressing issue is medical errors, which Grey's has portrayed in heartbreaking detail. These storylines underscore the fact that mistakes remain one of the leading causes of preventable deaths in the U.S. Most recently, the show took on pandemic realities, mirroring the struggles of COVID-19, from overwhelmed hospitals to protecting frontline workers. These episodes captured the emotional and physical toll of healthcare crises that ripple far beyond the hospital walls. Through these stories, Grey's Anatomy continues to do more than entertain. It educates, provokes discussion, and brings humanity to America's toughest medical challenges. Hey lovely viewers, welcome to our channel Grey's Anatomy Official. How Grey's Anatomy tackled America's biggest medical challenges. Popular medical drama Grey's Anatomy has long reflected the real-life challenges of the American healthcare system. The show has addressed a myriad of issues that resonate with both doctors and patients alike. By depicting these problems, it offers viewers a peek into the complexities of healthcare in America. Here are 5 times Grey's Anatomy mirrored major medical challenges in the United States. Addressing healthcare inequality. One storyline shed light on the differences in healthcare access between different socioeconomic groups. It illustrated how people from lower-income backgrounds often find themselves unable to afford adequate medical care due to financial constraints and lack of insurance coverage. This parallels real-world numbers, where around 9% of Americans are still uninsured, affecting their ability to seek necessary treatments. Mental health awareness. The show has also tackled mental health issues, making them an appropriate topic of discussion in the medical community. Characters have tackled depression, anxiety, and PTSD, mirroring how mental health has gained prominence in today's world. In fact, nearly 20% of adults in America suffer from mental illness every year, underscoring the need for more support and resources. Organ donation challenges. Organ donation is another critical issue portrayed on Grey's Anatomy. The show has depicted the emotional and ethical dilemmas surrounding organ transplants. In real life, over 100,000 people are on transplant waiting lists in America at any given time, underscoring the urgent need for more donors. Impact of medical errors. Medical errors have been a recurring theme on Grey's Anatomy, showing what they could mean for a patient's life. These storylines reflect a major challenge within healthcare systems across the globe. According to studies, medical errors account for many preventable deaths every year in America alone. Navigating pandemic situations. The show recently tackled pandemic scenarios that mirror global health crises like COVID-19. It explored how hospitals manage overwhelming patient loads while ensuring staff safety during such events. This portrayal resonates with real-world experiences where hospitals faced unprecedented challenges during pandemics affecting millions globally, including economic impacts reaching billions of dollars across various sectors. 9 disaster episodes, Grey's Anatomy hasn't done yet. The finale for Grey's Anatomy Season 21 was a fiery one, jeopardizing the lives of several of our favorite Grey Sloan surgeons with what looks to be a very massive operating room explosion. We'll have to wait until Season 22 arrives in October to find out which, if any, of our heroes in the blast zone made it out unscathed. But we're also thinking about what else might be ahead in the next bout. Grey's gas explosion was a shocker, but it was also pretty standard fare for the show, considering everything the hospital and its staff have been through over the years. In fact, the first hospital explosion happened all the way back in Season 3 with the infamous Bomb-in-a-Body bonanza. Among the litany of other disasters that have befallen the hospital or Seattle at large in the show are a train derailment, multiple mass shootings, a ferry boat crash, a flood, plane crashes, a sinkhole, a superstorm, a mudslide, an earthquake, a tunnel collapse, a roller coaster accident, a windstorm, a hospital fire, wildfires, a bus crash, multiple ambulance wrecks, a hacker attack, a heat wave, and, of course, a global pandemic. At this point, you might think there aren't any more new disasters that even could befall the team, but we've found a few that might become fodder for the longest-running primetime medical drama to continue its tradition of bringing big events to the small screen in Season 22. Volcano explosion. With several active volcanoes in the vicinity of Seattle, including the high-threat Mount St. Helens, it's honestly surprising the show hasn't brought a volcanic eruption into the mix yet. Even an ash spray could do some serious harm to the region, giving the Gray Sloan gang plenty of new surgeries, particularly in the trauma unit. EMP attack. We've seen the hospital lose power before in the superstorm, but an EMP attack would be next level. That would take out not just the hospital's main power, but also all communications and backup power. It would be a major catastrophe, and the doctors would have to be mighty creative in how they treated the inevitable fallout, assuming they wouldn't become patients themselves. Cruise ship sinking. The ferry boat crash left the vessel still afloat, but could you imagine the carnage if one of those cruise boats taking people to see Alaska went asunder, and one of our heroes had to learn to scuba dive to help out the injured trapped inside the Poseidon adventure? Glacier crash. Speaking of those cruises, another potential seaside disaster could be a glacier crash that impales and crushes people in the freezing water. Shark attack. Wildlife attacks have played a major role in the show. Who can forget when the trio of hikers walked away from a mad mama bear? Or when the pet lion got loose and mauled some people? Or when the boa constrictor decided to wrap itself around its adoring owner? Still, we haven't seen a shark attack yet, and since Grey's takes place on the waterfront, it's fair game, even if it's only happened twice in the entire state in the past 2 centuries. Tsunami. Okay. So tsunamis don't pose much of a threat to Greater Seattle, but that doesn't mean the characters couldn't be out somewhere and get caught up in one. Nuclear meltdown. Washington State has a nuclear power plant in Richland, which is just 200 miles from Seattle. An incident at that facility would almost certainly affect Gray Sloan. Terrorist attack. Apart from mass shooters and the hackers who took over the hospital, there hasn't been a true terrorism attack brought into the mix on Grey's either. Certainly, such a thing would be triggering for the doctors, particularly those who served in uniform and already have PTSD. Alien invasion. This might sound silly, but where's the line really? Who's to say that a UFO incident of some kind couldn't also impact Gray Sloan, whether it was just a bunch of alien hunters getting themselves hurt over a false sighting or an army of green men storming the hospital? That'd certainly be a surprise to audiences who've become inured to the disasters on the show. Hey Grey's Anatomy, can you try focusing on Lucas' ADHD storyline? After 21 seasons, you would think that Grey's Anatomy would finally understand that its characters can have compelling story arcs outside of their messy love lives. However, when it comes to the interns, or rather residents now, it's evident that they will still recycle the same things over and over again rather than focus on any more compelling angle for one of their characters. A prime example of this is with Lucas and how the series has seemingly abandoned his neurodivergency arc. Lucas' story arcs have been somewhat interesting but repetitive, too. Admittedly, the appeal of Lucas and Simone was pretty great back in Grey's Anatomy Season 20 when it felt as if they were nodding at the early days of the series with this group of interns, either with direct ties to the OG crew, Lucas, or with similar personalities or lore to match the original MAGIC. The frustrating thing about this arc is that it was often used as fodder to drive a wedge between Simone and Lucas. He often sought emotional support as he struggled to impress Catherine and regain his placement. Meanwhile, Simone was often too preoccupied with her own career, and the others were facing their own personal and professional struggles, making it difficult for them to truly show up for Lucas when he needed them to do so. It was unfortunate that Lucas appeared a bit isolated from the rest of the group, considering that initial connection was what made this batch of fresh new faces so interesting in the first place. Grey's completely abandons Lucas' ADHD arc. But the series never took the more obvious and interesting route with this storyline, and used it to delve deeper into his ADHD. Some of the behavior he exuded that led him to make such a seemingly reckless and impulsive decision could have easily been attributed to that. It would have been a nice through line for the series to connect his recently diagnosed ADHD with his decision-making and his having to retake his intern year. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 already knows how to fix Catherine's buried issue. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 has the chance to resolve Catherine's forgotten problem from 3 years ago if it approaches it like one story from Season 21. Catherine's cancer has been an ongoing storyline since Grey's Anatomy Season 15, when the shocking reveal impacted so many characters in Grey's Anatomy and forced Meredith and Tom Korosik to collaborate to treat Catherine. The focus on Catherine's cancer storyline seesawed over time, becoming more or less important depending on how it progressed. However, before Grey's Anatomy Season 21's premiere, Season 19 had already reprised it, highlighting a major problem that the medical drama never solved, nor mentioned again after Tom Korosik raised it with Catherine. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 can change that. Grey's Anatomy's Camilla Luddington teases Season 22 premiere. Camilla Luddington is teasing a heart-pounding return for Grey's Anatomy this fall. The Shonda Rhimes series ended Season 21 with a quite literally explosive finale, and the actress, who has played Dr. Jo Wilson on the show for nearly 14 years, shared that returning for the upcoming Season 22 premiere has been difficult. "There are some premieres that I'm excited to come back and film," Camilla told E! News in an exclusive interview. "We've had some really funny openers in this one. I think I can say this, I was really dreading." As she put it, "The finale was crazy. Our premiere is even crazier. There is so much going on." Considering the last episode ended on a cliffhanger, leaving the fate of Jo's new husband, Dr. Atticus Lincoln, Chris Carmack, up in the air, Camilla was anxious for what was to come, adding, "I had to take a deep breath going back. It's been a lot." Grey's Anatomy's Camilla Luddington teases really rough Season 22 premiere for Jo. Is Link a goner? All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, Soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. That boom heard at the end of the Grey's Anatomy season finale may spell doom for Link. As the episode came to a close, the operating room floor of Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital exploded after the distressed mother of a young patient brought in a highly flammable tank to use as leverage in a hostage situation. She thought the tank was empty, but it was actually leaking the whole time. So just when the mom was arrested and everything appeared to be going back to normal, the ER exploded in flames, putting every doctor's life, minus Meredith and Ben, who were outside the hospital, in jeopardy. Link's fate, in particular, is very concerning, seeing as how he was physically in the ER at the time of the blast. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.